We love to travel the rails. A familiar face is back with us.
You know, it's one of the most adventurous, yet most underrated, underestimated travel types. My very first time on the rail was from Lagos to Kano. Oh my God. Joke, I will never forget the experience.
How old were you?
I was 20.
Okay.
I was 20. We didn't know, you had to write it down.
I'm writing it down.
I was 20. We didn't know each other from anywhere.
Yeah.
Come and see the bonding.
Yes.
It was not even this Dr. Opeifa's new things. Yeah. It was the old locomotive that we were using. The kind that you find in Indian movies.
Oh my gosh!
You know, the bonding was amazing.
I can imagine.
All of us on this thing. So you can imagine how heartbreaking it is for someone like me, or rather it was for someone like me to see that between the 80s and 20 years down the line, things went so down. The railway compounds became ghost towns, and the railway system itself became absolutely, well, almost if not completely non-existent until this Fourth Republic, where, you know, efforts are now being made to bring them all back. So what we have is what we have. There were initiatives listed under the Buhari government. Some of them are seeing the light of day, some of them are not. And this government is also doing its best to do more and more. Perhaps that is why we have Dr. Opeifa with us this morning.
Yes, and the first thing we should ask him is, are you increasing fare?
First of all, welcome him. First of all, welcome.
Well, he's always welcome. He knows that. He's always welcome. Anyway, welcome. It's just a joke. Welcome to the program yet again. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Good morning, Sunrise.
Yes. Good morning to you, Railway.
Railway. Dr. Railway.
Thank you very much.
You said there is pressure.
What's the pressure?
We're having pressures to increase. Diesel pressures. People's pressure.
People want it
probably
to be increased.
If we increase it, we'll have more equipments.
Right.
And there is also the pressure of the economy of operations. However, there are also pressures to think about Nigerians and the current situation of things. So both are on the table. On both sides, we're weighing it. And we will not do anything that will be of shock.
Right.
It will be a government decision rather than our own decision.
Let's start with the realities for you. Because one of the challenges you may want to confirm or refute, that the railway initiative in Nigeria had, was that of funding and maintenance of whatever it was that they had at the time. Consequently, everything, you know, it nosedived over the years. And if we don't get enough funding and you are not able to increase, just as you're saying, aren't we running risks?
Worldwide, not just for railways, in the mobility sector, where you have passenger movement, there is always a balance of costs, operational costs, ability to pay, capacity to pay, and government intervention. Because mobility defines the entire economy. Regardless of how productive the economy is, if people are not freely moving, goods are not freely moving, there's going to be a cost. And that cost will impact on the cost of the product. There is also what you call the poverty, mobility poverty. That is, the people are poor because they cannot move. You know, when you talk of dimensional poverty, for now, they've not inputted mobility impact into the dimensional poverty that is giving Nigeria. I don't know the exact number now, that people are scared of. If you put mobility cost onto it, maybe 80 to 90% Nigerians may become in that bracket. So because of all those issues, there is always tendency to be cautious and think twice and make sure government plays a role in modulating without regulating, in modulating. Even though if you regulate, it's also allowed. They call it regulated deregulation. There's something like that, regulated deregulation. You have to make sure that government puts and makes some input into mobility costs so that everybody can afford one kind of mobility, whether it is bicycle, whatever, or bus, or train. So for train worldwide,
so sorry,
it is usually subsidized.
I apologize for the mobility poverty that you just spoke about now. I'd like you to expatiate a little further. I'm not sure many people even knew. Sincerely, I'm not sure many people even know how serious it is.
It's a theoretical and practical concept in economics, and is also in transport and logistics management. For example, I heard you this morning talking about the traffic on Kara Road. Somebody lives in Agege and he works in Lekki, OVI, where the job is, and it costs him 50% of his income to go to work. He's already a poor man. So, and it has to do with accessibility and availability. If the job is available, but it is not accessible, the fact that you have a job does not take you out of the poverty line. So you will spend 40-50% of your income on transportation. It has three different concepts. I can't remember exactly what. And what you now see is that they are spending all they have. That is why people tend to change in those developed countries. When you get a new job, you change your location.
Yeah.
You go and live closer, because transport costs should not be more than 20%. In fact, it should not be more than 10%. Once you start getting to 20, 30, 40, you are moving to the poverty line in your own profession. And that is why you also see, except for the airlines where you have passenger movement, even in the airline sector where people can fix any price, go into American system or the European system. Once an airline is about to crash, you will see government will come in and pump money to make sure the airline does not crash. It's a private enterprise, the government will give a grant. Because when that airline crashes and it loses some market share, and they can't put the aircraft in the air to move people, then there will be pressure in the market. Like she said, there will not be increase in prices. And that increase in prices will disrupt the economy, and it will transcend. And that is why it was Spirit. You never hear an airline in America just go down without somebody absorbing it. The government is always involved. And that is why we give credit to Minister Keyamo. When the diesel price went up, you saw what he did. And when the airlines came up and said, we may not be able to cope, he quickly called the meeting, he intervened, and the government gave them some slashes. If government had not done that, maybe you might be paying double by now.
But so, what I'm really interested in, and it's a bit scary, but it's good for us to have that reality, because my first question to you was about reality. You said, if we were to measure mobility poverty, 80% or thereabout of Nigerians will be in that bracket.
Might be in that bracket. Don't let me use
no, might be, yes. I mean, so help us understand, those numbers, so that even the government, be it state or federal or whatever, will be able to identify.
I'll give you a practical example now. In 2012, when the fuel price went to 120 and then later moderated to 97, Lagos State government was about doing what Ogun State is doing. Is it Ogun doing it, or you're giving workers 10,000 or so as transport, additional transport money? Is to make them come to work. True, and not to turn them to liability, because they won't come to work. If they come to work, they become poor. So what we are saying is this: if, let's use common practical, let me use the one I've studied before, the Badagry axis. Go and check the Badagry axis from my two, is it my two? Yeah, right. That's my two to Okukumaiko. The people in that neighborhood don't go beyond my two. A lot of them, majority don't go beyond my two. The people from Badagry, many of them have not gone beyond my two. So that's why people live where they work, or they create their own livelihood where they work. And that's the new model of habitat development. Yeah. Build people workplace, living place, recreation space, everything around where they live, so that they don't get to spend that much or little they have. And what that means is, if you take transport, health, education, from like, if you solve the cost of these three in Nigeria today, a lot of people you think are poor will no longer be poor. You spend so much to take your child to private school, you go to private hospital, you don't want to go to the one by government. Then when it's time to take transport, majority of the transport system are informal. No, it has to be formal. America is a capitalist, number one capitalist system country. Go to their cities. Public transport, where they have it, is local government funded, the city government. And it is, the price cannot change. Anyhow, you have to go to their, they call it council, like our own local government council. The people are called aldermen or whatever. You have to go there, and they have to give 2-3 years notice that this 3 naira, let's say this $1 will increase over the period of 3 years in this dimension. The first year 20 cent, the next year 40 cent, the next year 40 cent, and where the government, where some areas are not bringing in returns, that is, they can't break even, government will not stop transport to that sector. They can now go to your tax, your property tax, and put a 0.001, and they call it transport fund for so purpose. And that is why the Lagos State Government Motor Vehicle Administration also has it. It has a percentage of what goes for your driver license, vehicle license, about 50% goes into the transport fund. And that goes into Lamata to provide those public transport systems. The reason all these are done is to reduce transport mobility poverty or transport poverty. And if you now take that, go and check the current Bureau of Statistics or World Bank data for Nigeria. Transport or mobility is not part of the multidimensional poverty. If they put it, you just imagine, everybody watching can imagine in their own sense, just assume the transport system increased by double. What will happen to my system? What if it reduces by so? So what you do, if you invest in public transport, like rail, mass transit and the rest, not these Kurupe kind of 4-10 people, and then not this informal system where when it falls, the price change, when sunlight comes, it changes, when your wife is pregnant, you increase the fare, or when your husband is out of work, you change your fare, or when they are playing football and it's time to go and watch football, you increase your fare. So you have to put in a government system to manage public transport so that people can, like you said, plan ahead. This is my salary, this is my transport money, this is my rent, this is this. And what you do is, if you now regulate it or you provide public transport, what you do, if you provide additional, let me say, 2,000 mass transit buses in Lagos, which the Lagos government is doing well about, you will have put about 20,000 naira extra in the pockets of every Lagos resident. And that was the theory we tried to apply when the price went up in Lagos during Jonathan and the Fashola. Eventually the price came down. We now start with the union members. The petrol thing increased by 33%. How come your own fare increased by 100%? And it is on everybody. After we negotiated with them, they brought it down. They brought it down drastically. And that is the role of government. Otherwise, you have
interesting
poverty.
Don't worry, I know that.
And when you build hospital, people cannot access it. That makes them poorer. Because they will have sickness they cannot cure. It will cause them to go, so they won't go to the hospital. A reason why some people, that's why government is prioritizing primary health care in every local council, so that people have access and they have access to the hospital, and the hospital is also available. So it's a function of access and availability, then capacity and ability to pay.
Right. So, I mean, going forward now, if we get back to these transportation issues, and so for people not to be poor in a mobile way, to
be mobility
which
one of the easiest ways to remove poverty.
For people to be, I mean, for these issues to go away, I think that, for every system, if you're looking for partners, you're looking for people to fund, not just the immediate government, but maybe investment partners and all that. I think recently there was an attempt for that somewhere in Europe. I think Nigeria European Union Business Forum. You are urging global partners to actually partner with Nigeria to invest in the railway, because it's not an NGO really. It's not. I say NGO, non-government organization. It is a government agency, but it's not an NGO. It's a business. It's not a not-for-profit organization in that sense. So how is that partnership going to work with organizations like the EU to help?
I want to thank the European Union and their business section, especially what they've been doing with Nigerian states governments in terms of mobility. They are doing well with the Lagos State government. I think Kano and Kaduna State government also has a strong relationship with them. What you focus on is the green transportations part, and is to highlight to such groups and investors. If you invest in this sector that looks like the return on investment is very small, is not attractive to the regular business community, except it is a developmental agency, they don't easily look. It's like I can go to the bank to take loan to fund rail. They can't wait for that long period. Return on investment, payback period, all those things what they'll be calculating. But if you go to agencies like the European Union, IFC, AFDB, Afrexim, and the rest, these are developmental banks or investment outlets. So they look also into the sustainability. So what we took there is the green aspects of rail transportation. We made it clear earlier that we have completed the proof of concept of using LNG, and we have also moved far as to turning electric. This will reduce the carbon footprints of our operations. At the same time, they bring down the cost of operation. But the initial investment might be huge. That we may not be able to finance. And on behalf of government, we now have to go on the road show to start explaining these opportunities. Another thing you sell to them is that this system will move this mass of people and reduce poverty. Poverty also has a cost on the economy. If you have too many people in that bracket, they get onto the streets and you have all sort of situations. So we also use the opportunity to expose to them the new Nigerian railway, the transformation going on, the human capital opportunities, and the fact that if you invest in this rail sector or any other mass transit sector at this low interest rate, it allows them to remove this much people out of poverty. In Southeast Asia, that was the strategy that was used to turn China, turn all those Southeast people to become Asian tigers. They invested in roads, not third roads. They invested in art routes into where the economy is, that is the farmlands, and people are able to move their farm products into the city and then for export. If you put tar roads there, you know what will happen? There will be gentrification. People will start going there to live and not to farm. The farmland will disappear. So there are so many things around it. But for the EU and all other developmental partners, we are meeting some other ones this week. It's just to expose to them that Nigerian rail system has the passenger volume to turn in the investment. What we need is small push, and all what we're asking for at that meeting was just $200 million.
Yeah, it's good. So let me bring some practicality into this now. You are the chief spokesperson of the NRC. So you are here now. Chief, I say chief because you have someone that is the PR person, but you are. If you don't speak of it, then who would? So let me give you a practical example. I'm going to Ibadan. I get to Ojota, I take a bus that will take me like an hour 20 minutes to get to Ibo Road. I'm going to Alakia in Ibadan. Now, and I get the bus maybe for 5,000-6,000 naira. Train ticket is about 3,500. But this is my issue. The the trip to Ibadan, to Alakia, is all of maybe 2 hours if I'm going there. If I'm going to the same Alakia and I first have to get from Opik to Agege, which is the closest to me, then take like a 3-hour train ride also to Moniya.
Then
another almost 1 hour ride from Moniya to Alakia.
Yeah,
Convince me.
I'll convince you.
Convince me.
This is the problem of intermobility.
Yeah.
It's an intermobility issue, and is as a result of the kind of system we are running. We are not running through federalism, or we are not practicing it. Even that is what we are supposed to run. The moment the rate comes by the federal government into a state, you will expect immediately the program is conceptualized. The state government is providing access to its people, because the rail is eventually going to blow up that town. There's going to be industries around it, but pending the time the place will be fully populated, the state government should put a road. You are correct. That's one. Then two, the state government and the local authority should immediately put in a transportation system that takes people to where the train is. So I will use Lagos, I will use Kaduna, I will use Kano, I will use Abuja. That has done well. I can use, let me start with Lagos, then I'll move to Ogun State. That has done something phenomenal also. In Lagos, you have Lagos rail system. It's now gone to 11 from 5. So Lagos is moving. Now, Lagos Red Line, Lagos Blue Line can take you from Okukumaiko, if you want to use that train, to Marina or whatever. And from there you can find your way to join the Red Line at Ido or EBJ Junction. That is the way it should be. Now, the bus system too, we are not running, there's no state currently now in Nigeria that is running a mass transit system that is what, or that you can be proud of. You should be able to move on one bus to the other with minimal cost and then join the train. So we lack intermodality in our transport system. That is the subject of National Transport Conference coming up in October now in Abuja. We'll keep discussing this thing. So, however, you have used Lagos as an example. Let me commend the Ogun State government for fixing the Ladere Road. The road that leads from the Wole Soyinka station was commissioned, I think this year, by the governor of Ogun State. Don't forget that line was commissioned about 2020 or 2019. So it took about 6 years. That's not good. They will thank the government for getting it done. At least something was done. If you go into FCT, there is that challenge there. To get to our train station is a challenge. That is the one at Idu. But thanks to the FCT administration, you can take a train from Central Business District free of charge to the airport. And you can take a train from Central Business District to Idu station to take the Abuja Kaduna train. That's the way it should be. And all they just need to do is to now make transportation from the Central Business District station of the Abuja Rail Metro to the town. You are perfectly correct. So that is a problem. When you get to Warri Itape, it's a different story. All this calculation of money you are calculating will disappear. Lagos and Ogun State is unique because there are many road connections. In the case of Warri Itape, do you know it will have cost people about 35,000 to 50,000, no, about 35,000 to move from Abuja to Warri or to Bayelsa or to Rivers. So what do? They will take a bus from Abuja to Itape. They take the train for 5,500 naira. Then when they get to Warri, the same company that you mentioned, the middle organizer, the same company that facilitated the movement from Abuja to Itape by road, is waiting for them in Warri to facilitate their movement to Yenogua and to Rivers. Guess what? It cost them less than just about 10,000 naira instead of 35,000 naira. So for places like Lagos, it may look like it's on the other side. The same thing happens when you talk of Abuja Kaduna. It costs about 12,000 to go by road, whereas you can use that thing by 3,000. Now the train moves at exact time, no delay. It gets to where it's going. It tells you 2 hours 46 minutes, and it is 2 hours 46 minutes plus or minus 5 minutes. You get to where you want to go. It is safer. It is more comfortable. You are more relaxed. I said it here before. When I did my Microsoft certified exams, after the study, it took me 6 weeks to pass all the 6 exams. Because when I'm going to work in Chicago, I just take my book, I study 2 hours on the train, I get to work and I do the same thing back. I go for the exam, pam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cleared everything. That's what the train gives you. However, also, the other thing you have is there's nothing like go slow. There's nothing like breakdown trailer, cause trouble like yesterday you were talking about. There's nothing like that with the train. So some people take train from Chicago to, where is this, LeBron James town? Cavaliers, where are they from? LeBron James' hometown. It takes about 12 hours, no, 7 hours to go by train. Whereas by here is about 2 hours. Do you know the cost of the train is more expensive than the here? And some people just prefer sit down, have the scenic views, relax, do their office work, and they just go. Not that it's that difference, a little bit different. So it's a preference.
Okay, you just mentioned the Warri Takwe Road now, and it led to this conversation, something that happened recently. You know, there are those who have criticized the evidence of, they use the Warri Takwe derailments recently as evidence of a reactive rather than proactive maintenance model. So how are you and your team working to ensure to restructure the track inspection frequencies and oversight to prevent such disruptions?
Thank you very much. Let me once again appeal to Nigerians that we apologize for the incidents, and we also commiserate with those who lost their lives and those who were injured. We have done some of the things we need to do to handle that aspect of the situation. The problem from our investigation is not from the track. We'll release something in a few days now. It's not, in our own view, it's not. NSIB2 is investigating, independent investigation. And accidents could happen. But like you said, if there are proactive maintenance or proactive actions, you may be able to prevent. But there are some that the problem will happen while you are on the way. That was what happened in this case. Something happened while the train was on the way, and you're just hoping to get to, or you think it's not that serious, and from that one, something else happened, and it happened. Now, in terms of maintenance is cost-related, and many of these spare parts are also not readily local or locally available. So you have to make sure you have your spares available. Real air transport, even vehicular transport, requires frequent maintenance, and you should not take any chance. If it is one small, what they call that, sensor that goes bad, you don't have to go. But at times, we as human beings will say, I can't, let's go, we'll change it on your way back. And that might just be that might just be 1,000 naira kind of something. Because these things are not just mechanical, they're also electronic. And you have to, so when I got into that agency, I don't want to speak to Warri Takwe strictly, because they're using Warri Takwe as we shut down that system for 30 days, 60 days, shortly after I resumed, because I noticed there are issues with damaged arms. And we moved from 8 coaches to 5. Then we became non-competitive. The OPEX was not enough to even buy diesel. Then we discovered the track was damaging then when we went into history, it shows that the track system and the track age requires the track safety audit and a track complete rehabilitation process. So we shut it down for 60 days, and we did a lot of work on the track. We came back to smooth. Now, also the same thing with equipment. You see, you have to keep your relationship with your original equipment manufacturers, because it's not easy to bring in parts. Some parts, or like in the electronics now, computer, everything is now standardized. ISO, DZE, 1, 2, whatever. It's not the same thing with rail. So when you have rail from Germany, you have from China, you have from US, you have from which other countries, India, then that means you have to keep parts in different class. They have class, you'll be in any class 22, class 24, class 28. So you have to keep parts. So you have to order. So we have to create a system that is Nigerian.
Okay. One last one.
I don't want to talk too much.
No. One last thing from me. There is an acquaintance of yours that has repeatedly drawn our attention to the fact that there was such a thing as railway police. We know that you have begun to strengthen your relationship with the Nigeria police for this track safety and all of those things. Is there any hope that the railway police is going to come back?
We have a Nigerian police force.
Railway Command.
Railway Command. And they have a commissioner of police that does the entire country. You also have the Nigerian, Security Civil Defense Corps, Railway Command. But we don't have like in the aviation where you have AFSEC, we don't have RailSec. So we are planning to have RailSec. Now they will do different jobs. The RailSec will not carry gun. The police and the civil defense will carry guns or may carry guns. So, but we still have them.
Okay.
I'm sure you are talking towards the area of vandalism. Vandalism security is beyond those issues.
Okay.
It's a complex issue. The rail systems are far away from where the rail tracks where people live. The railway used to have, I'm sure the person must be referring to the ganga and the linesmen. The railway system has a team of class of workers. They are mostly level 4 to 6 or 8. They call them ganga. They line the tracks on a daily basis to walk and check. In those days, there was nobody stealing iron, nobody stealing clips, but they still manage those things. But the police, the civil defense are the ones in charge of the vandals. The vandals we have now are serious ones. They are not ordinary people.
Well, that
it's
means,
a cartel.
That means we ourselves have to be more serious.
They are the vandalization.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know that there is so much, but I think the major thing that you've said now is that you are under pressure.
Under pressure.
Under pressure.
I work best under pressure.
Okay, good. So you have
under
to give us 3 years.
You remember that Raskimono?
I don't want to sing today. You have to give us 3 years before you increase anything. That's the example you have given us.
Oh,
don't even say that one. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Dr. Opeifa.
No, let me just correct you. There is no plan on ground now.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Let me assure Nigeria.
Great to hear.
Okay.
Dr. Opeifa, Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation. We appreciate your time and thoughts again.